Okay, so guys, very nice that you came today. The theme is cardiac arrhythmias. And maybe I'm going to use Czech terms sometimes, so you can correct me if I'm using a wrong term, because, you know, sometimes there's small differences. So cardiac arrhythmias. And what is the flight plan? So first of all, flight plan. First of all, we're going to do a small recap of the things you learned in physiology, but just a very fast one. Okay, so basic recap. And what I'm going to tell you is about the conduction system a bit, remind you some things, conduction system. Then we're going to talk about what is a rhythm. If I misspell it, sorry for that. Rhythm, I guess. And then we use the term action, but I think in English it's heartbeat. So we're going to do rhythm and heartbeat. There are other factors you describe or other things you describe when concerning ECG, but these are the two main ones we're going to use today for arrhythmias. Then we're going to go through, and this is more like a physiological, anatomical kind of division. We're going to go through the pathologies of the initiation of the impulse initiation. Okay, so let's say initiation pathologies. Okay, so of the depolarization. So, and we're going to go through different groups. So first they're going to be sinus pathologies, then they're going to be supraventricular ones, and supraventricular means atrial. It's a synonym, and that means that the pacemaker, pathological pacemaker, is not in the sinus. It's somewhere in the atriums, but the only place where it cannot be, it's the original SA node. Okay, I'll tell you more later, of course. And then we're gonna do the ventricular pathologies. Okay, so these two concern atriums, and this one is ventricular. Okay, and so that's the problem with initiation. That means where is the pacemaker located? That's one of the pathologies. And the other group of pathologies is the conduction itself, if there is some blockage. And the main ones you should really know are AV blocks. Those are the ones we're going to ask you. Okay, so you should really know AV blocks, and also USMLE, of course, test for this. So these would be pathologies in like conduction pathologies. Okay, conduction pathologies. Okay, so conduction pathologies, and over there we're gonna do mainly, those are the AV blocks. There are also sinal or SA node blocks, but forget those. AV blocks are the main ones, and I'm gonna just tell you about branch blocks. Okay, so bundled branch blocks, left and right BBBs, left and right bundled branch blocks. Okay, so Tavaras bundles or whatever. Okay, Japanese name. Okay, and then we're gonna go through some examples which I made myself, so I hope you'll see it. Examples of arrhythmias, and as a surprise, you're gonna do USMLE type case with Jose. Okay, yeah. So he's gonna come at the end, and anyways, just for the beginning, I over here with the initiation problems and conduction problems, this is a way like older division, and you won't find this so much in the USMLE exams or whatever. The main division, how they divide it, and it's much simpler, is they just divide it on bradyarrhythmias and tachyarrhythmias. That means if the rhythm is faster or slower. So bradyarrhythmias, arrhythmias, and Let's make it red. Tachyarrhythmias. Okay? Tachy. So fast, slow. Okay? And this is another way how you can divide it, but I'll tell you which one is fast and which one is slow. But you know, there are different ways how you can divide the arrhythmias. Okay? Yep. So this is just a flight plan for today. So with a recap, it's about the heart rhythm. Okay? So heart rhythm. Heart rhythm. Okay, rhythm. I don't know how to spell it. Anyways, the thing you should remember is if I'll make a heart over here, these are atriums, these are ventricles in a way. So you should remember this is a SA note, and over here you got an AV note, and this is a his bundle, yeah. So his, and over here you got a right branch. And left one still divides on like 3 parts, okay? But that's not so important for today. But what do you call this one? These two together, you know, how do you call the area? So which is still in the atriums. You call it junction. It's junction. It's a junction area. And basically, if a pacemaker, pathological pacemaker is located over here, you call it a junctional rhythm, okay? Just for terminology thing, okay? So, but tell me, how is it? So by the way, the conduction system, those are specially modified neurons. Am I right? Yeah. So you are all nodding, and that's wrong. Okay, those are modified muscle fibers. Remember that. Yeah. Okay. So next time you won't be treated like this. So remember, those are modified muscle fibers. Okay. Modified. But anyways, how is it with the pacemaker? How is it? How come SA node is the pacemaker? What is its feature? Tell me. What is so important about the SA node? Why this one is it's the drummer? Why is SA node the drummer? Why?
Is it because it can create by itself a new impulse?
Yes, it creates, but that's all the cells of most of the cells of the conduction system are able to do this. So there is some.
Is polarizable.
What?
Its membrane gets polarized easily.
Yeah, but as the other cells, the autonomic cells, we call them autonomic cells, autonomic cells. Those are the special cells that are able to discharge themselves. It's called diastolic depolarization, and there are so many of them in the heart. So how come SA node cells are the ones which take the lead? It's very simple. Tell me.
It's the fastest.
They are the fastest. That's the important. Those are the ones which discharge the fastest. They have the highest frequency. That's why they are taking the lead. That's what you should understand. Okay, because it's just the thing which happens when you have a pathological pacemaker. If there is some pacemaker, some place of cells, some group of cells that will discharge faster in pathology, then they will take off. They will steal it from the SA node. That's very important to understand. So over here, if there's going to be some other pathology, and these cells, the green ones, they will discharge faster than SA node. They're the ones which will take the lead. That's what you should understand. And if there are cells, group cells in the ventricles, and they take over, they will discharge the fastest because of ischemia, whatever re-entry phenomenon happens over there. They will be the ones which take the lead. Okay. So that's what the fastest drummers take it over. Okay, that's very important to understand. And if I would come to physiology again, normally the cells that discharge fastest are these ones, the SA node cells, and it's a spontaneous depolarization and how fast it is per minute. Typically, what is the range about?
60 to 80?
Yes, 60 or 60 to 90, doesn't matter per minute. Okay, very good. So, but of course, this is when you're not doing anything. If you start to, if there is a control of the sympathetic trunk and whatever, and if you're running, it's gonna beat faster. Okay, but it's under control of the autonomic nervous system. If you would take them in a petri dish, they would do like 100 maybe normally, or 90. But thanks to the vagal tone, they decrease their speed a bit. Okay, but anyways, if you would take on a petri dish cells that are what cells are the second fastest then, that are located where?
The atrioventricular node?
Yes, very good. AV node. So that's and the frequency of the AV node is like
40.
Yeah, 40 till 60. Exactly. So basically, if you would kill the SA node and everything would be fine in the heart, then AV node would take over. So we call it a secondary pacemaker. And still, if you would destroy the AV node, and so SA node and AV node would be destroyed, then you should expect some cells from the ventricles to take over, which have a frequency like 30 till 40. Okay? So very slow beat. But so remember from this already, if a old person comes to you and he has a beat of 40, no, he's not a marathon runner. No. He just has a problem with, he doesn't have a SA node and AV node, and the discharge comes from a ventricle, or he has a full block. He has an AV block and nothing is conducting towards the ventricles. And that's why the ventricles start to discharge by their own, because then so there's a blockage, full blockage, AV block 3rd degree. We're going to talk about it. And that's why some cells will just from over here will take over, and they have a speed of 40. Okay, so if an old person comes to you and he has a bradycardia, very suspicious. Please don't never underestimate that. Okay, but back to physiology. So remember, 60 to 90 for SA node. AV node would be like let's say 40 till 60, and then if the ventricles, let's say 30 till 40. Okay, yeah, and this is in case there is no other pathological pacemaker that would be faster. But if something faster appears over here, then this one's going to go 150. This one's going to be the pacemaker, pathological pacemaker, which you don't want to have over there, by the way. Okay, but anyway, so this is how you should understand the frequency is the most important, the speed of the discharging. Okay, yeah, and what is so important about AV node is that it has some refractory period. Okay, so basically, if some really crazy frequency would be here, like 300, this would discharge the atriums. The ventricles will be protected by this thanks to the AV node cells, which are not able to discharge so fast. Okay? So remember that this is cool, because although this discharging hits the AV node all the time, like with a really high speed, it needs to be repolarized to get discharge again. So basically, it's sort of a gate which protects like influx of too fast beats, okay, of the atriums. Watch out, okay. So AV node protects it. It's a protector of the ventricles. That's very important. Also, by the way, you have some pathologies that you're born and you have a artificial branch over here or here. Then you have what we call a pre-excitation syndrome, like Wolff, Parkinson, White. But forget that. We won't talk about it today. But then you just do radio ablation and you destroy it, because the only connection that should be working, the only wire between atriums and ventricles should be the His bundle. Okay, so AV node and the His bundle. Okay, good. So this was just a small recap, and now we're going to go to the rhythms which you can have, and I'm going to mention the physiological one and then the pathological ones, and I'm going to mention two special, we can call it like really important pathological frequencies if you want. So pathological rhythms that you should really know. Okay, and before this, one more thing. With this, you should already realize that if there is a bradycardia, it would be either generated by SA node, okay, because it's slowed down. The SA node is slowed down, so decreased frequency, or you're going to see bradycardia when the SA node is dead, okay, and then some slower like AV node takes over, okay, or SA node or AV node are okay, but there's a blockage and nothing goes into the ventricles, and that's why you're having bradycardia. Okay, so this is in terms of bradycardia. So it can be slowed down by, I don't know, by if you have hypothyroidism, you're going to be slower. But SA node works, but you're going to have a sinus bradycardia. Okay, and then remember if SA node is not existing, whatever. So this is how you're going to have bradycardias. Okay, with tachycardias, it's something else. There is a region which beats much faster and takes over. That's what you should understand. Okay? So the tachycardia, of course, is much more common. Yeah? Well, depends, again. But typically, some cells will get like haywire, like crazy. They're going to beat too fast, and then they will take over. And it doesn't matter if it happens in atriums or ventricles. The only the only thing that matters is the terminology. If it happens in atriums, you're having atrial tachycardias. If the pathological pacemaker is located in ventricles, you call it ventricular tachycardia. Okay, but watch out. Of course, it's a huge difference if you're having atrial tachycardia compared to ventricular tachycardia. And it's because of the hemodynamics, but I'm going to talk about it later, okay? It's because of the speed. And you are always afraid of the heart which goes too fast. You should remember that. Why? Well, you're afraid of a too slow heart, because then if you're going to have a pulse 30, then cardiac output is going to be real low and you're going to faint and die, okay? And you're going to have necrosis everywhere, you're going to have infarction. And the same works with tachycardias. If the speed is too fast, then there is no time for the ventricles to fill, and the cardiac output goes down. And you're going to have what? Two main things. And this is what I should maybe stress at the beginning. There are two main signs that arrhythmia is dangerous. This arrhythmia you're having now, that you have to do something with it. And what are the main signs? Sinus function, that means if you're getting now dizzy and now having a syncope, you have to do with the arrhythmia immediately. And what is the other organ? Tell me.
The lungs?
Nope.
Kidneys.
Nope.
Brain.
I said brain.
Yeah, that's syncope.
That's brain. That's brain. Brain is fine. Every time there's arrhythmia, and you're having like thinking problems, are going to be like disoriented or even fainting, even having a syncope. Yeah, you have to do. What do you call the syncope related to arrhythmia? What do you call that? Adams-Stokes attack or Adams-Stokes syndrome. Remember that. Okay. So this is very dangerous because you can have a car crash or whatever, fall from a ladder or anyways. But what's the other organ which will tell you, hey, I'm having a huge problem?
Stomach?
What? Which one?
Stomach?
Spleen?
No.
Liver?
No. Well, it's the most vital organ.
Brain?
No, we said brain. I love this.
The heart itself?
The heart itself, what? If I'm having tachycardia like hell, the heart is working like hell, like using all the ATP. And if the cardiac output is decreased, guess what's going to be not perfused? Well, the coronary artery. So how will the heart tell you I'm having a problem?
chest pain,
Pain. Ischemic pain. So angina, attack of angina, and immediately after that, MI. Okay, so two things. Remember, chest pain with arrhythmia. Well, there's a heart attack coming. Immediately you have to send him for cardioversion. Okay, with electric wires, and it hurts a lot. Okay, and the same with if you're dizzy and the brain is not perfused enough. So decreased perfusion of heart and brain. Those are the main signs that tells you, hey, we have to do with the arrhythmia something. But if the arrhythmia is like okay and sort of is stable, then you can wait. So basically this tells you arrhythmia is unstable, or unstable in terms of hemodynamics, and unstable in terms of cardiovascular system. Okay, yeah. So that's so think of these two main organs, brain and heart. Okay, good. So let's get to the rhythms. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell. And as always, check the description below for supplementary questions and other materials.